Welcome to the football show on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Peter Martin and I'm delighted to say a special guest on tonight's show is Rico Quitongo. Rico, delighted to have you on board here. At the moment, I know you're a man who loves his football, not playing at the moment, but keen to get back involved.
Absolutely. Again, I've got my coach academy, but it's time to practice what I preach. So I've recently just started a TikTok series just called Back for More. So coming back to the game I love for a little bit more.
Yeah, and the other thing I was going to say to you, which I think is key to you coming in as a special guest, is that we've got a story to tell. It's not a story that fills anyone with any great credit, because from my point of view, reading your story of what you've had to endure over the last few years is gut-wrenching, to say the least. September 11th, 2021 is fair to say a moment that will stay in your mind for a long time. So let's take you back there and tell us what happened.
So I was playing against Queen's Park, my brother's team, but he was injured that day. It was a 0-0 game. Again, a game that we were probably happy with a draw. I thought I'd done okay. Went home as normal, and that night I received a voice note from a teammate in regards to what happened at the game. Again, I never heard nothing at the game at all. I was oblivious to it all, never heard nothing, and I was told that a family member, a teammate's family member, heard a racial slur regarding myself.
What was going through your mind at that time when you're told that? What's the immediate reaction?
Immediate reaction, again, racism, everyone will tell you, it's so hard to put it into one feeling, but at that moment I was feeling embarrassed. I was questioning, what did I do bad in that game to deserve that? I was mortified. I was just really confused. And I remember trying to get the video straight back from the game. I always like to analyse my own games, and I remember going through the game and watching it saying, where could I have deserved that? Whereas realising I shouldn't have been doing that. These cowards that say these slurs, they don't, it just comes out their mouth. That little 5 second can have a huge impact, like it's happened to me.
And at that point, what influenced you? Was there advice or something within you that said, I'm not going to stand for this?
I just think my upbringing, again, being me and my brother, being from not too far from Wishaw, Camsneffin, growing up, we've endured a lot of racism through our football careers, or through, again, if it's grassroots level or school. So again, I just really feel enough's enough. And working in school at the time as well, I just want to be the one that stands up for it.
Now, everybody will know that not only are you and your brother gifted footballers, but your dad, Jose, certainly from my point of view, a special footballer as well. Did you feel the need to speak to not only Jose, but other members of your family to say, look, this is what I'm dealing with, what should I do?
At that moment in time, I didn't, because I felt too embarrassed. Again, with my dad, you'll know yourself, my dad's a happy-go, loves life because he's so blessed. Whereas my mum, she's really been the face of when we've ever had racism and abuse. Mum's the first one, no matter if it's been a male, a female, whoever it may be. My mum's the first one to be knocking at the doors. So I was too embarrassed to tell my family, just because I was just too scared. I was embarrassed just to tell them what happened. I was just trying to deal with it myself.
So what then prompted you to take the next step?
So when I was at Airdrie, we trained every Sunday. So again, I'm a warrior as a person, but that full night I was up, I couldn't sleep. So on the Sunday I went straight in to see the manager and the assistant manager, Ian Murray and Scott Agnew. And again, I just told them what I was told the night before. And they, again, apologised on behalf of the culprit, and they'll get to the bottom of it. And that's all I wanted. That was perfect with me.
Yeah.
Take it from there.
I presume at that stage you were hoping that maybe process would take place, and then, although it's difficult sometimes to actually catch the perpetrator, because as you mentioned rightly, these people are cowards. These people, say something and think that they can get away with it, and maybe it's not jogged somebody's memory of who they were in the crowd. So what process were you hoping was going to take place, and what actually happened?
So me, honestly, I thought the club would take a serious investigation and try and get to it. Again, like you said, can't always catch the culprits, or the person that heard it might not be able to stand up or call it out because maybe more intimidated, or it could be like, that's just how life is. And I'm not wanting someone fighting in stands or whatever because of me. So I was just looking for the investigation to be taken seriously and just try and get to the truth. Just try and find the culprit, or albeit if it's maybe a statement. I understand that clubs don't want to show bad light on the club's fan base, and never once have claimed or will claim that Airdrie are a racist club, because they're not. There's great people and there's great fans. Again, I've had great messages, lovely messages, even the last few weeks regarding this, and at the time there's great people at the club. So, but there is a small percentage within the fan base that's had problems for the last few years, and all we want to do is make our great game, our beautiful game, better and stamp it out.
Now, from a point of view of a manager and assistant, that support is immediate. I think the main crux of where the pain really started was the way the club dealt with it.
Yeah, it was, they were trying to sweep it under the carpet. And prior to my incident, I played with a former teammate who was at Airdrie a few seasons before me, and there was a altercation in the stand that led to his brother-in-law and a fan that said a racial slur fighting in the stand. So my first instinct was, I don't want that to happen to my mum or dad at the games. I'm not wanting that to happen. I'm not wanting to be swept under the rug. It's happened too much times since I've been younger. Now enough's enough, and I'm standing up for it. So I wanted it to be treated seriously.
So what happened then as far as the club's investigation and as far as their treatment of you as you move forward? Did you see a change? Oh,
massive change. So again, the club will try to keep it in-house. And then I was asking, why would it be in-house? Like, why should it be? The club will then often, they put my mum and dad in the box for the game on the Tuesday, the 14th, against Iowa. And again, I still didn't tell my parents because I was too mortified and too scared to tell them. And I then questioned, why would you try and put mum and dad away for the box? Are you scared it may happen again? So from then on, I played the game on the Tuesday night against Iowa. We won 2-1. I played well. I kept a goal line clean, and I just didn't feel part of the game because I was too focused on where my mum would be, and if that person that said the slur is still out there, why did they call me that name or whatever? So my mind was completely not there, and that's just due to them trying to keep it in-house.
At that point, and this is something that probably, from early stages to, as it develops into the nightmare that it undoubtedly did, was there a point where you thought, I've got to forget this. Was there a point where you thought, no, I've just got to let this go? I think a little bit down the line at that moment in time, no, because I believe football's for all, so I'll stand for what I believe in. I love the Scottish game. That's my world, and there shouldn't be any racism in it. There is, unfortunately, but I wasn't going to let that scare me out of being silent. No way. I wanted to stand my ground. So what then happened that escalated this into what was eventually a long period of a nightmare? What happened with the club that suddenly started to take a twist that you never thought was going to happen? So after me put my tweet up regarding the incident, I received support from the manager, my teammates, my assistant manager in the football world, which was great. I got the weight off my shoulders, and again, I'm a person that you can see that if I'm worrying or whatever. It just, from then on, the club were unhappy with my statement. They wrote that in one of the reasons why I was suspended, in a cooling off period, The club then requested a meeting with myself, so I only thought it was going to be Ian Murray and Scott Agnew. It was then with the chairman, the owner, Paul Hennington, and the meeting was really to try and change my mind and try and bury it in the sands, as they say, and move on. And
they men in there never will or never have experienced racism, so they don't know what it feels like. And it was trying to manipulate me, that whole meeting, in order for me to pressure me into agreeing a statement I did not want to agree and never would agree. So from then on, I missed the Saturday game. So after that other game, on the Thursday, Ian Murray used to like to do his shape for the team on the Saturday because we were hybrid. So boys would train on Monday morning, Tuesday night, Thursday night, Friday morning. So Thursday night we'd have the majority of the team in, and I was in the starting 11, as I should have been, because I played well enough for the last 2 games. Saturday I approached and about 1:20. Again, I was in my usual routine. I was a DJ usually for the games. I was pulled by Ian Murray and Scott Agnew, and I was told I wouldn't be in the squad today to help myself and the clubs, putting myself in the club's best interest at first, which I couldn't see. But I was professional enough to say, you know what, we'll deal with it after the game because 3 points are all that matters. I'm a professional, I'm a footballer, I want to win the league by Airdrie. That was my mindset. And again, at the time, I remember fans thinking I didn't want to play. That's never been that case. I was playing until I walked up to that stadium, which hurt.
It must have been difficult. Was there, obviously you've put out a tweet to highlight your predicament. They're not happy about it. Did you start to see a change in the narrative and the abuse that was coming your way? Did you get abuse?
At that moment in time, no.
No.
At that moment in time, no. It was later when the club put out their statement regarding the investigation and stuff. At that moment in time, no, I had a lot of fans, again, footballing fans, Airdrie fans, saying that they stand by me and blah, blah, blah. So at that moment in time, no.
What about the statement then? Because clearly the statement goes out and it's against your wishes. It certainly doesn't have the tone that you wanted from it, even if you both agreed there was a way to move on. Was it something specific within it that left you, if it's at all possible, even more angry at where this was going?
There was a paragraph they added in. Again, I think there's 4 paragraphs in it, and 3 of them are fine. Again, they don't condone racism, get anyone caught, lifetime ban, which is absolutely fine. There was a paragraph that I can't remember word by word, but all I remember seeing is basically that the fans had left like a vindication. At the time I didn't know what that word meant, so I had to Google it. And then I remember that's when the hate started coming in the messages to myself or on Twitter, that I was made it, paint me a picture of me being a liar or a rat or try to use this as publicity. And the last time I checked, you don't get moves because you're black or because you're white, it's because of how good you're talented on the pitch. So that really hurt because that's my character being changed. So I remember speaking to Jim Duffy on the phone, breaking down and just saying, like, Gaffer, I always call him the Gaffer still, just why me, like, I've not been a problem, why are people thinking this of me, I've not done nothing wrong. And he said, again, his words were to me, it's how you look yourself in the mirror, you're doing the right thing, stand there getting Rico, and I'm proud of you, be proud of yourself and stand your fight. And that's when all the hate came, which was really hard.
At that point, I presume when it gets to the level where there is an impasse, a disagreement on the wording, certainly something which is staining your character, I presume you're going through your own legal process then, because you have to get it to a point where all the evidence is put before some sort of jury, committee, to then adjudicate over this.
Yeah, so I went out to train that night. Again, I'm never an angry person, but I was frustrated, I was hurt, because my character, I was still working in schools and I've got teachers coming up to me and saying stuff, so I was hurt. I might have not shown it because I'm a deep person, but I was really hurt. So I went in to say to Ian Murray and Scott Agnew that if the statement could come down, because I was showing them the abuse I was getting, and this is what the club's painting me out to be like. Ian Murray's then turned around to me saying there'll be consequences. And I told Ian Murray, the word for word, there's no man on earth that I'm scared of. The only person I am is my mum. That's the only person. So if I'm not playing, it's because of the colour of my skin, not because of my ability. And they kept saying there'll be consequences. And I was like, that's fine, but that must come down. Look at the hate I'm getting. Again, went out and trained as a normal professional.
Did it come down?
No.
Where do you go from that point? Because you've obviously got to then go through a legal process. And that must have been painful because it didn't go according to plan, first of all.
So that same night, again, with our senior boys there being Callum Fordyce, that was the club captain, that went to be the assistant manager, with Rhys McCabe, that became the manager. We had Craig Watson and Cam Gallagher, who was the vice captain. They had a discussion, and I think the type of person I am, I'm always life and soul. So if I'm struggling, people can tell straight away I can't have a down day, because I'm the main person, I'm the lively one, I'm constantly talking to people. So they had a discussion with themselves, and they were thinking they were against the club, because the way the club were treating me, and they had a meeting with the rest of the boys without me knowing. And Cam Fordyce then relayed saying that we're all for one and one for all. We disagree with the way the statements came across, and we're wanting a meeting with Paul Harrington and Ian Murray. So I was then told after training, and again it was a really beautiful moment, because I'm not an emotional person, but guys that again I've either grew up with or just know me, again they're willing to stand up for me, and they'll never experience what I've went through, but they're trying to show the togetherness. And I remember getting to the car, we burst out crying, man, because I was like, these guys are showing me so much support. To find out later, a few days later, that Ian Murray turned around and said that the league was more important, which led me on to being put on my cooling off period, because I had to help the team morale.
Yeah. Did you understand the manager's predicament at that time, or were you really angry that he should have, like your teammates, been firmly behind you?
I think that shows togetherness. Again, I'm not saying if I stayed at Airdrie, they've won the league or got promoted. I'm not saying that, but that just shows what type of person you've got at the wheel. So it was really upsetting that, because these boys went out their way. I didn't ask anyone. I would never ask anyone. I'm my own man. Whatever I think, I'll agree on or disagree on. That's just who I am. So these guys were willing to fight my fight, and they were turned against.
So what next? You've obviously got to seek legal advice.
Yep.
You've obviously got to go through that process, and you get a lawyer. What happened then?
So what happened then is, that same Thursday we trained Friday, and again, being a parent now, I fully understand, but my mum got to see the deal of me, because I was still staying at home, and I was avoiding coming in the house, so I didn't need to speak to my mum, because I just wanted to go to my bed. I was wanting to be myself, but I hate being myself. I was going out a lot more. I don't drink at all now, so I was going out a lot more. I was doing things that aren't me, and my mum just wanted to see why is Rico being treated like this, or can we just tell you from her point of view that he's not doing okay. He can put a mask on. I know my son, he can put a mask on, but I see him the way he is, and the vulnerable way he is when he comes home. He can play on a Saturday doing well, but my son's not okay. My mum, she was going up with that intention. She did not see Ian Murray or Paul Harrington. And then that was a Friday, and then the Saturday I was phoned at 9 o'clock, told that there's a cooling off period to help the team morale, to help myself. Ian Murray then said, because my mum came to the stadium, and I just couldn't believe it. So again, they say cooling off period, but it was a suspension, because I was never told to do running, I was never to get a gym plan or whatever. It was basically 2 weeks off to help the team, and that was her. So again, speaking to the PFA, my lawyers, they were just trying to keep me positive and try to make a good situation out of a bad one, which was really hard, and I didn't ever really see it getting to this stage, and I was really upset, because all I wanted to do was play football for Airdrie. That's all I wanted to do. My time at Airdrie, I loved my time at Airdrie.
Did you know that it was coming to an end?
At that moment in time, Peter, no. I generally thought I'll come back after these 2 weeks, and hopefully the people in charge will change, and we'll move forward and we'll win the league. That was my mindset.
Yeah, didn't go that way.
No, it went the complete opposite way.
The allegations against you and your brother must have been a twist that you never seen coming.
Yeah, again, it just shows how far people are willing to go to silence you. It's really upsetting to bring my brother involved, because what's my brother done?
What were the allegations?
It was just criminal allegations that would again affect my job now. It would affect my job at the time. It would affect me as a person. And again, my dad's, who brought the Quitongo name over here, that's built up, that everyone loves him and whatever, that was going to be tarnished if it ever got out there. So It's just, it was a really, really evil thing to do.
Yeah, these allegations against you and your character of you and your brother, allegations suggesting that you were involved in criminal activity, unfounded eventually.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course.
At that point, you've obviously got to go through the process. You've got to go through a process then that has to, at one point, get to a tribunal. What happens then?
Again, it was just, I never
You must have been devastated because it didn't go according to plan.
Again, when I came back after, it was maybe 2 weeks cooling off period, and 2 weeks turned into 4 weeks. So I came back in, trained a full week, started on the Saturday, won, I think 2-1 or 1-0 against East Fife. So again, that was for me, get back in, be a professional. For it then to progress the way it did and go to tribunal, I was hurt by it. Because again, people, maybe some people disagree, but I was a victim, mate. That's all it was.
You hadn't done anything wrong.
I've done nothing wrong. Again, if I worked in Asda or Tesco, I told my manager that's the exact same. If I was getting abused, that's all I done. That's all I done. When
you lose the initial tribunal, where's your world at that point?
Broken. Remember I was at Korean South at the time and Margaret phoned me. I remember...
This is Margaret, your lawyer?
Margaret, yeah, amazing lawyer, amazing woman as well. But I remember she phoned me. I just broke down. Just broke down again. Just years of dealing with stuff, and just that moment in time, just everything. I felt lost. That full day I stayed out. I went in to visit friends, just be myself and visit friends, go to the gym, just take my mind off it. Didn't want to see anyone. Because I know when it got released to the public, you'll get the Twitter idiots messaging me, telling me I'm a rat and all this stuff, and I was just lost. I remember I was at Queen's House, so we were playing my brother's team on the Saturday, and I phoned the manager, telling him I don't think I'll be able to come back because my head was gone. And again, I'm not someone that likes to do stuff half-hearted. I'm always committed, so the manager told me fully understood, but again, if I want to come in tomorrow, just let them know and stuff. Speaking to my mum, my closest friends, they told me just keep playing. You're Rico Quitongo. We know you're right. We know the way you're treated. Don't let this fool you. So I went back and obviously played, but it was really hard.
Psychologically, were you at breaking point?
Yeah. It's the lowest I felt because the way when I obviously lost it to people, they think I'm a liar still. Whereas this whole tribunal was because of victimisation, because of race, not because I was racially abused. It was the way the club treated me. So people still don't understand that. So I'm a liar, I'm attention seeker, I'm all this, and my brother was getting stuff as well, and I'm like, what have I done? Yeah. And then that's when I questioned, should I have just kept silent? Should I have just got on with my football? But I know at the time I didn't feel I was doing the right thing because I was so hurt by it, but obviously now, being a father now and all this, it was absolutely the right thing.
The thing that you highlighted there, which is the two sections of this story that maybe people don't get, is one, the perpetrator of the initial racial slur against you is now lost in a story, which now gathers pace onto a club's treatment of you, which are two separate issues. From that point, when you're at your lowest, I know you said you didn't, suicide or suicidal thoughts were not at the forefront of your mind, but what did you mean when you were talking about the situation where you felt as if you didn't want to be here? So
after leaving Airdrie, I joined Peterhead. Again, I was still lost before I was broken, because I still, why me? What has happened to me? So I was at Peterhead. We had Back Inside as a charity there, and Libby, who's an amazing person. She used to drive the minibus, so again, I'll talk to anyone. So again, we grew a lot closer, and she could tell that I was wearing a mask, and I thought I fooled everyone. If I could fool my friends and fool my teammates, because I was playing well on a Saturday, I could fool Libby, but I couldn't. So Mum's went on. Again, even the last game of the season, my last game for Peterhead was against Airdrie. Before that game was the first time Libby got to see actually what was happening. Airdrie were allowing my mum to come into the stadium for the game, and Jim McInally was outraged because I don't think boys realised what was going on. And this was before my last game for Peterhead. my wee mum, what's my wee mum done? Mum wasn't allowed in to stay and pick up tickets. And Libby's just checking on me. So after we played the game, Libby then spoke to me saying, I think we should try and get you into speaking to someone. And I was so against it. Again, being brought up the way I've been through Wishaw, you can't show any weakness, especially being a little black boy growing up. We never had to stand our ground for always. We couldn't let anyone in, and that's just the way our community was. So I didn't want to show any weakness, and I remember saying, "I'll be pleased. I don't want to speak to anyone. I'll be fine. I'll get through. I'll get through anything." So my first pre-season game with Queen South against Rafe Rovers, I spoke to the therapist Jane, and remember it was maybe a Zoom call, but I pretended my camera didn't work because I was scared of someone seeing me so vulnerable. I remember telling her, and I'm a deep person, but see, being able to speak to someone and not be judged, again, it was massive. I remember phone call, we stopped the phone call and I just burst out crying, and I couldn't believe it because I was saying stuff that I thought I could say and being honest rather than keeping it inside. I was actually telling someone. So during all this time, again, I was speaking to Jane twice a week or once a week, again, feeling positive, feeling my low days, and again, if it's dealing with online abuse. And that time when I found out that I lost the tribunal, I remember phoning Libby and Jane and breaking my heart to them, and I remember telling them I didn't have suicidal thoughts, I didn't, but I felt worthless, I felt embarrassed, I didn't want to be here, I didn't want to be Rico Quitongo. And I know it might not make sense to people, but it will to other people. I just didn't want to be here, and that was it. That was it, and it's really sad because the place I'm at now, looking back on there, I was such in a bad way.
You just didn't want to be in that world.
I just wanted to not be me.
Yeah. Now, if Libby and the great work that they do and back on side is one aspect of it, you must have had at least a modicum of hope provided by Margaret Gibbons, your lawyer, on the basis that there has to be an appeal. Did you feel at that point, I can't get through that, or I have to go down that road?
I think with Margaret and the PFA, they were really giving me strength. So again, they said to me, we'll appeal it, we will win it. Again, I probably didn't, at that moment in time, I probably didn't ever think that I would win it because I couldn't see. My tunnel was just down and low and dull. So they kept telling me, don't worry, we're still going to fight this. And I think that really hit home when people like Margaret and the PFA, again, they're doing their jobs, but it was more genuine. So feeling that they were fighting my fight. And again, months went on, weeks went on. I had a bit more faith and positive feedback from them that led me to become myself and become stronger and have the faith again.
Yeah, and the appeal.
Yep.
What happened?
Appeal. So again, my son was born on the 17th of December, but he was due on Friday 20th. And again, being a new dad, I think I was fixing my hair, my few curls I've got left, and I got a phone call from Margaret, and my partner, she knows if Margaret's phoning me, I'll leave the room because I don't know what news is coming, and I knew it'd be coming. But I remember she phoned me, and I looked at it, shut the door over, and Margaret told me, and she said we've won. And again, broke down crying. Peter, again, I was crying on the Tuesday. My son came, and crying that week. My missus was loving it. She was seeing there was a real side to me. Just bursting out, and Margaret was saying, "Are you there?" And I was like, I couldn't talk because all that, the 3 years or 4 years, I think it is, the 4 years of all that hate I went through and all the frustration and the confusion was all worth it. And it was just a beautiful moment to be there with my new family. And it's just a moment I'll never ever forget.
It's not a weakness to cry, by the way.
No, I know. Again, I've realised that again going through all this, it's important to show who you are. And again, if it wasn't for back on side, they've really changed everything because being able to open up to my partner and show that side of it, I've never been able to do that before. So I'm grateful. I'm so grateful.
Yeah, there were a number of things that were picked up in the appeal that eventually goes your way. Case closed. What was your feeling?
Just, it was all worth it. All the lonely nights, all the dark times I was through, all the just everything was just so it was worth it. Would I go for it all again? I would.
Yeah, that was the point I was just about to make to you. When you get to a situation which is oh so painful, knowing the pain that you went through and the ripple effect around your family, was there a point where you thought, I shouldn't have done this?
Yeah, and again, I think to start with, my mum was right at the start. My mum was like, maybe it's going a bit too much, Rico. Like, I love watching you Saturday. I'm not wanting this to affect you. Again, I was trying to say, Mum, I can't do this. And I remember when one of the nights I was low and upset, Mum could tell, and she said to me that she was so proud of me and what I was doing. So that was that whole moment that I knew I was doing what's right. So going through it, I couldn't see the end. I couldn't see the end goal that is now. But it was a challenging time, not just for myself, but even for my wee mum that I think was affected a lot by it. Because she was dealing with me at home and being a parent now, not being able to help your son when you know he's struggling is a really hard feeling to deal with. And I've never really apologised to Mum because it's too hard to do it, but she knows how much she knows how much I wanted to open up to her, but I didn't have the tools back then. But now, being a parent, I hope one day if my son Castro, end up ruining my makeup. I hope one day if my son Castro ever went through anything like this, that he's got someone like me and that he'll be proud of, not just if it's me footballing, my coaching, but me as a person, as a father.
I think the lesson is something you should feel tremendously proud of, but that vindication, you're also a boy who doesn't strike me as somebody who's going to gloat over it. You got vindication.
Yep.
What was the immediate priority for you after that then? What did you say to yourself, right, that the line is there? Mm-hmm. What happens then? How did you move on? Because quite simply, there is an after effect that I still think has clouded and been a negative force against you because you're still young. Yeah. You still want to play football. Did you get the sense that even after being vindicated, that there was still some kind of, tarnish around Rico Quitongo, the footballer? He's not worth touching.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, after winning it, when the first appeal, when we lost it, I think I was at a different place. I had a lot of hatred in me or confusion, whereas now when I won it, I was a father. I had my own business, so I was just enjoying it. I knew I was victimised, so I was just enjoying it with my family. But the beauty of going through this, I've grew through the situation, the environment I was in, and I became a better person for it, a better father, and a role model to people. So again, it was never to go. It was just to say I knew that a piece of paper or an article won't tell me that. It won't change anything. I knew the way I was treated. But to the fans that maybe thought I was lying and stuff, that's cool. But something else I won't believe it. I'm not going to lose sleep over that. But it was important for me as well to show the next generation, the players that I hopefully go and play professional one day, that you stand for what you believe in. If it's a male, a female, if you're black, if you're white or whatever, stand for what you believe in. So I think as well, because of the situation that's hindered me with football, and I spoke to a few managers that were open and honest, and they were saying that it's a bit of a problem, just because, I don't know, clubs talk, and obviously lies can be spreaded. So it's been hard. It's been really hard, that, and especially when I'm trying to get back into it now. Some clubs are maybe not as keen. I've not reached out to a lot, but some clubs haven't been in touch. So it's hindered my footballing aspect of it, but I'm a more positive guy now, so we just keep going.
Yeah, and with that in mind, I think it's something that some people, I don't know if it will register with them, but you bear no grudge now or hatred toward Airdrie Football Club, which I thought was an incredible way to look at it.
I've never had hate towards Airdrie Football Club, never. All the supporters or whatever, my hate's towards racism. Into the individuals of Paul Harrington, Ian Murray and Scott Agnew, I've grew through it. Again, I was really upset by them, the way they treated me physically and mentally. I was upset with them, I was angry with them. But growing through it, becoming a father, like I said, I won't forget the way I was treated, but I forgive them. Because in life, you can't hold on to evil. And I believe that if you do good things in life, that good things will happen to you. So I'm not going to hold on to evil.
You want to play football. You want to go and kick a ball with your teammates. It's the best feeling in the world. The dressing room banter, the DJ, the playing the tunes. What would you say to anybody out there about what you could offer and as a footballer and why they should come and have a word with you? I know that you're training with Clyde, and I couldn't think of a better man than Darren Young. Yep. But what would you say to people who look and the condition you're in and what you could do for them? No,
I'm grateful to Darren and Clyde. Again, it's when I got injured, was playing for Clyde, so they've been great for me. But for me, what I'll bring you is I'll maybe bring you in a few shirt sales with name on the back. But playing wise, it's someone that's will give you everything they've got. I've really looked after my body for my ankle break. I've looked after my niggles. I'm just wanting to get back playing and just maybe not get bums off seats, but I'll give you 100%. I'll be the soldier for the artist. I'll get the ball back or whatever and just love the game and be positive and give good vibes. That's the way I'll be. A few moans in there, but that's all right.
And it would be nothing better, I know you mentioned your son, but nothing better than pulling on a jersey as a professional footballer and your son's in the stands.
Again, he'll probably be watching the wingers and stuff, but it'd be nothing better. Again, I had that with my dad and my brother, and it's something that I'd love to be able to replicate and make him proud.
Are you filled with optimism now that you can get back in and play regular, get a contract somewhere?
Absolutely. Again, I'm realistic as well, Peter. I'm really realistic. I know what level I could play at. If that's League One or League Two, absolutely. It's just about getting a chance. Or I know financially the clubs in the lower leagues aren't as great, but I know deep within that I'll back myself to get back in and play. Having
come through this ordeal, are you a stronger person?
Absolutely. Mentally, emotionally, yeah, I'd say.
Now, just before we finish, I think there's a more pertinent point to highlight in the aftermath of this, because your case is not an isolated case. We have a world that is, day by day, without getting too political, day by day, you see huge divisions, whether it be, countries, land, power, discrimination, sectarianism, racism. There are so many things that divide us. You are in a football world.
Yep.
Do you think it's got worse racism in the game?
Yeah. And the sad thing is, Scottish football's my life. I love Scottish football. I get every Friday I'll be watching it. BBC Alba, I can't understand anything, but I love watching it. But in the last few years, I think it's got worse. Again, that's if it's sectarianism, or racism, it's got really worse. I don't know why, and I'll be honest, I don't think it'll get any better. A lot of people like to compare, Scotland's not as bad as England, but it shows there's still racism. So what are we arguing about? But do I have faith? Of course, I'll try and have faith. For hopefully my son takes his steps into hopefully the Scottish game. That there won't be any. But we need to be realistic. In order for people to change, it must be stamped out. People say you need to be educated, but that makes no sense. No one's born racist or hating you because of religion. It's taught within your four walls in your house. It's not in schools. So people always say, they need to be more educated, but no, they don't. My son won't see colour. I've never seen colour, so.
What would you like to see happen?
Just me personally, maybe if it's the authorities of the game, taking it serious. Again, there's guys maybe that don't know how it feels to be racially abused, that operate the game we love. So speak to someone like me. Again, I've never spoken to anyone in the SFL, SPFL, for my case would speak to us about it all, and we'll try and give you a better knowledge of it, and then maybe they'll take it serious and try to stamp out. If you love the Scottish game that they claim to love, that we all love, surely you want these bad people out to make our game better.
I think a lot of people will share that view. I would love to see you back playing football on a regular basis. It's not your complete world now, because you have other things that you do as well as football.
Yep, so I've got my own coaching academy called Quitongo Academy that's coaching kids from 4 years old to professionals playing for Marseille, the World Cup. And in between you've got dads that can't be bothered in running, they'll come play football, and I absolutely love it. I'm coaching within schools as well, the ASN units, again, giving back to the game. Again, I've been so privileged that I've had that upbringing with my dad, I've went to football in school, I was professional at 15 for Hamilton, so I can give you a good insight to it. And for the last 18 months, it's took me to places I didn't think I'd be going to, if that was coaching in Jersey for summer camp. So my goal is to get back playing for my son. My other goal is to give football to believe that football's for all. So again, if that's 1 hour out of a little kid's day coming into me and they come smiling, leave smiling, that's made my day. And the more I think football is such a key, it's got so much key life skills within it, and I've seen that the results in kids that come out maybe shy, it was test your confidence, your resilience, and be able to bounce back and stuff. So my goal is to grow Quitongo Academy, take it to more schools, coach more professionals, coach more teams, and just give back to the game I love.
And are you taking your badges?
Currently, yep. So I'm working towards my C licence, which I've got next month in Bonnie Rig, I think, and which I love. Again, I don't want to be a manager. I'm too nice to be a manager, but maybe a coach.
Steady. The time will get there. You might.
Maybe if I lose my curls soon, I might. But again, be able, like today, I've got a few professionals in today. I think I've coached the majority of the St Mirren team. So Steve Robinson better get me in as a coach soon. So I've got a few boys in today, which is really good. And them getting in touch, it's just amazing. If I can help one player, that's amazing.
Dare I say it, I know you will obviously want to concentrate on playing football, and I really do hope a manager, a coach in the professional game looks and says, you know what, Rico Quitongo, footballer, defender, I want to speak to you, come and play football. Secondary to that, you're passing on to the next generation, life skills, and of course, hopefully skills left and right foot. I want to emphasise that to you, having played against your dad many times. But the other thing that I think is so invaluable, and I don't know if it's in your mindset, but there's a tremendous lesson that you could pass on to people by, going to, a seminar, a gathering of people, a message on psychologically the strength that you need to have, mental strength in dealing with this issue. That spreading that word is something that I think you could give invaluable lessons to people. Is that something at the forefront of your mind? Absolutely. Even just Friday, so I'm working within the schools. I work at Calderside as a Quitongo Academy, and it was a rainy day, so we were in talking, and the boys see me as the funny guy, whatever, whereas I spoke to them about my case, and a lot of them were tuned in going, I couldn't believe that. And I was being honest with them. So again, if I can help some of these troubled kids or whatever, and then, like you're saying, going into if it's seminars and just being honest and talking to people, it might help one person change their perception, or that's it. I'm just want to stand for what's right, and I always will, and be a role model to those who look like me or who want to try and be like me a footballer and hopefully be better than me, or anyone in life in general, and just bring peace to life. That's all I want to do. Last couple of questions. Where's your life at now? What's it like? So it's a daddy daycare. My partner Jodie, she's back at work. So I've got little Castro most mornings. Not obviously the now. So again, other than daddy daycare, I coach a lot of some people during the day, but mostly at nights I'm really busy. Are you in a good place? Great place. Yeah. Happiest place. Again, I'll still be a worrier. I'll still always look to not be complacent with my coaching and my football, but I'm a better place. You're going to play football for as long as you possibly can. Please tell me you're going to do that. Till the knees gee up, hopefully, aye. Till the knees and the curls gee up, then we'll see. Yeah, absolutely. The bad news for that is we've got an old six-a-side gathering of ex-footballers, you know, that's 15 years down the line for you if you're available.
You say 15 days, I've maybe got a game. Just looking for a game again.
Last point, before we finish, Rico. What message would you say to everyone out there as you've come through the dark days about you, what you want to do and what you hope can happen for you in the future?
Again, I'm just thankful for the support I've had from the football world. Again, I'm not lucky. I'm not saying I'm lucky enough happened to me, because I had a lot of people around me, like the PFA, like Margaret, my name being known in football, so I had a lot of support around me.
Libby,
sorry, back inside, and a lot of amazing people around me. So again, if anyone is struggling, please, if it's reach out to me or people like back inside, and just let's, especially football being my world, Scottish football, let's try and make Scottish football, our wee world, the best wee world. And again, we're not wanting any of these so-called cowards or idiots in the stands. Let's just try and be the best people we can and live life to the fullest.
Rico, having known your dad for such a long time and absolutely loved him, it's an absolute joy to have you in here. It's a life lesson that I probably wish you didn't have to go through, but you never know, it may well help so many people in the future. It's been an absolute joy sitting here with you, and I'm so glad you're out the other end of it. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much, Peter. Really appreciate it. Thank you for hearing my story.
Don't forget to subscribe to PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Thanks to Rico Quitongo. Monday to Friday, it's absolutely free to watch the football show. Hopefully you enjoyed today's programme. We'll have the journos, we've got the women's football show. We've got so many other great one-to-ones that I know you'll enjoy on the channel. From Rico and from myself, Peter Martin, thank you for listening and watching.